Greetings! This tutorial is to show you the ins and outs of the new MYUK GPS system for users who were previously unfamiliar with it. As RDs, this system will be the one that your students will be using to schedule classes, to drop classes, to search for classes, and etc. The easiest way for you to become familiar with it is just by simply following the rest of this tutorial, which will be very brief. And the easiest way to get to the new MYUK GPS system is to actually go to the main university page, log into the MyUK, and then whatever the link blue number and password is. Now, as an RD, you're unlikely to have the full array of access to this system, so this is strictly for you to become familiar with what your students are going to be seeing. I'm actually a student here myself, so I will be doing this tutorial from my perspective. So for undergraduate students, they'll likely only have the Student Services tab and not the other ones that you see here. So I'm going to click on the Student Service tab and it's going to load this student dashboard. From here, I'm going to confirm my option is Degree Planning and Registration. This is the longer name for MyUK GPS, and it's going to load this new system. Like I said earlier, I am a student here, so what you're seeing is the course I have registered for the fall. In the case of your undergraduate residents, you will see what their classes actually are. And also for undergraduate students, in this box over here on the right, it will actually specify their college, their major, and will actually have the name and the email address of their advisor as well. So this will be really handy in case the student may have forgotten who their advisor is. The other thing I want to highlight here are these quick links. So as you're meeting with students who might have questions about certain academic deadlines, or if they're exploring a new major or interested in considering other options, you can quickly open up new tabs for the academic calendar, for what the UK core requirements are, and even this new academic exploration tool, which will allow both you and the student to take a look and search for some other alternatives to a major. For students, everything has been consolidated under this menu bar, and so when a student is ready to search for classes, they will simply come down here to Course Catalog, which will then load this new page. Students have two different options to search for classes. The first one is by typing in the course prefix, if they may already know the prefix, and this system will actually populate suggestions as you type in course prefixes. So for example, as I'm typing in CH for chemistry, it will populate other course prefixes that might also include those two numbers. In this case, I can just confirm chemistry and then run a search without even knowing a number or a section. This might return a lot of search results, so students can narrow it down over here, which consolidates all of the search results into just the titles of the class. The other option to search for classes, which is far more helpful, especially for first-year students, is here under Advanced Search Options. Because here, especially in regards to the UK core, which is our general education requirement, they can actually search by the specific UK core area they're hoping to select a class from. So for example, if a student is in need of a social science Gen Ed, they would confirm social science and then run the search. This would return results that will only count for social science options. So this is a really helpful way to not have to type in random prefixes or take wild stabs in the dark trying to figure out a class. If, for example, a class works and they like the course description, then a student can simply click on View Sections, and that will take them to a calendar view. And if they scroll down, now in some instances a class might have multiple sections, so there'll be a lot more scrolling to do on this side. But in this case, this class only has one. The courses you're seeing above are courses I have saved previous to this tutorial, and the whole purpose of coming to see the different sections of classes is just to be able to see how they interact with each other in the course planner. Saving a course does not save the student a seat, nor does it save that class for them for infinity. It strictly just pulls it into this little diagram so they can see if they have course conflicts, for example right here, or to even estimate if they can make the distance between two particular buildings. An easier way to figure out if you can make the walk in between classes is to actually just click on the link of the building. Each of the buildings, with a few exceptions, mostly the new buildings, have a hyperlink access, which will then actually open up a campus map for the student in a new tab, and it will highlight that building in particular. If you come over here to directions and confirm that you do want to find directions, you can actually type in the building, the two buildings you're trying to get a distance from. So for example, let's say we're trying to go from the chemistry physics building, and let's see if we can make the walk to the Gatton building. So we're going to confirm the buildings, and then we're going to find the route. And so in this case, it will take the student on average almost 6 minutes to make the walk from the chemistry physics building to Gatton B&E. They can also alter this based on if they're a faster walker, if they might have a bicycle, if they might be running in between class. So this is just a really handy way to take care of that estimation of walking. You can simply return back to the tab where you have saved everything else. The other thing that might be helpful for you to know as an RD is to highlight to your students the academic history option as well. This is where all of their credit and all of their courses will now live. So this is a cleaner, neater way of technically looking at a student's transcript. So if anything is checkmark green, that means it's successful, it's been completed. If there might be anything red, so for example, I did not pass this class back in the day, and so it's got a red X. You can also see the points and all that. If I had brought in any transfer credit, you would see that listed here. If I had taken any test scores or had any waivers and such, then you'd see those elements there. And so for your average undergraduate, they might have test scores. So this would include ACT, SAT. If they have any AP scores, it would list the test, the score, and what are the credit equivalents at UK. And then program details just chronicles the student's college and the program they're enrolled in. So you can see I have a couple of degrees to my name, and I'm working on another one. The final thing I want to highlight for RDs in this is really just this course planner feature, and this is something that they're going to, and by they I mean students, will spend a lot more time working with their advisor, because with this new feature, the student and the advisor will actually have an opportunity to map out all of the semesters up until graduation in regards to what classes need to be taken when. Some suggestions will be made in this major template, which one doesn't currently exist for me because this is still an ongoing development. But for the undergraduate students starting in the fall of 16, all of them are going to have a major template based on their major. The major template will break it down semester by semester, ideally what the schedule will look like, but there might be some deviations depending on AP scores, if a student has failed a class, or if a student might be changing their major and such. So the final thing, final, I promise, I want to highlight again is just the home feature. This will really be the landing page for all of the students, because if they in time have any holds on their account, so that could include an academic hold, but there are library holds, there are Dean of Students hold, there are ROTC holds, there are many ways to put a hold on a student's account. And what a hold is a block on the student's account, so they cannot enroll in classes until the holds are resolved. And depending on how many holds a student might have, it could be one, the academic one, or it could be several. Each one of those has to be resolved, and an academic advisor can only lift the academic hold and none of the other ones. And then the other thing to highlight here finally on this page is if a student is ever interested in withdrawing from a class, they simply would need to hit the edit button and then confirm in this upper right corner that they wish to drop. However, any decisions on dropping a class, adding a class, or making any drastic changes in the schedule, I would really suggest that you have that student go ahead and speak with their advisor, especially if they might be doing this right before the withdraw deadline or before other major semester events. It's always important to check in with the advisor just to make sure that they're not really dropping anything that might be overly detrimental to their subsequent course progression. This is a really quick rundown on the MYUK GPS for you all. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to connect with Tricia and Mel or any of the other representatives who might be present with you guys today.